And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. What an inspirational Thursday we're having today. When Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o shows up, by the way, we grew up knowing him as James Ngugi.
Did you? I tell you what I did with James.
Go on.
What I found was this,
Yes.
I found whatever I did,
Yeah.
first of all, I was born as Ngugi wa Thiong'o or Ngugi wa Wajiko. But at one time I became baptized and they gave me an English name.
Yes.
So I became James Ngugi. I dropped wa Thiong'o, right? So later when I started writing and publishing, I was irritated by the fact that James was shadowing Ngugi. No matter what this, James was there. I probably pronounced James is there. River between James is there, So one day, I put James in an envelope and wrote on top, return to sender. So I'm telling you, it's a huge liberation for me, mentor, to reconnect with my full name, Ngugi wa Thiong'o.
So the name Jeff, is that too colonial? Is that too adopted?
Yeah, I shadow. Why should Jeff shadow Koinange? So that when you achieve something like this phenomenon, you have 24 hours, some people might think that you're so successful not because of Koinange, but because of Jeff. Right? So we have to do something about Jeff.
We must.
Right?
I don't know how to put it in an envelope, though. I don't know.
I'll bring for you. I'll bring a very big envelope, and I'll even pay for
to return to sender,
to be flown to wherever it came from. Return to sender. Yeah.
Prof.
No, but seriously.
Yes.
On the question of names, it's a long tradition. When African people were enslaved, the first thing that was taken away from them was their names, and were given the name of the plantation owner as a signal that you are no longer so and so Kamau or whatever name you are called before. You are now Brown, meaning you are the property of so and so. Koreans, when they were colonized by the Japanese forced them not only speak Japanese language, but also Japanese names. It's a colonial phenomenon. It's very well known as a phenomenon, okay? And when under colonialism, we continue the same way. If you are baptized, for no fault of yours or because you liked it or whatever, they had to give you an English name, as if an African name was not holy.
Or
right?
Good enough.
Or not good enough, not holy enough, and so on. So they came to associate certain names with intelligence, with holiness, with Christianity. So even today, I really find it very difficult for me to see how we discard our names and adopt these other names. And there's nothing wrong with our names. You can go to heaven even with any African name with you, just like English people can go to heaven with English names.
With their names.
Or Asian names can go to heaven with the Asian names.
Correct. Speaking of Asia, you've just come back from Seoul, South Korea.
Yes.
They honored you over there.
Yeah,
all the way in Seoul.
With my wife Jerry.
Yes.
She accompanied me
yes.
there.
What was the award you got again?
It's called Pang Kyung-ni Literary Prize. It's named after one of their leading African women, Korean women writers. She wrote a very important novel called The Land, or Toji, The Land. And it took her 25 years to write that novel, which is embodiment of Korean struggles against Japanese occupation and its emergence as a nation and so on, right? So when she died, they set a prize in her name. And so every year they give it to, I think, to a Korean, They go to an Israeli writer, to a German writer, to an American writer, and I was the 6th recipient of the prize, and the first recipient of the prize from Africa.
My goodness.
Yeah.
That must have been a great honor.
For me, I felt a great honor. Really, I was very touched by it. And also, I was very touched by the Kenyans who turned up,
In Seoul?
Yeah, the Kenyan ambassador came and his deputy, and it's really, and they celebrated, and there was dancing there. And, it was really great.
Do the South Koreans know who you are?
Oh yes.
They've heard of you?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
My goodness.
They know, yeah.
Okay, so
because they read my books have been translated into Korean, right? They have all, I think 5 or so books have been.
A couple of years ago, you were shortlisted for the Nobel Prize in Literature. Shortlisted. This year, they gave the Nobel Prize for Literature to Bob Dylan.
Well, first of all, Bob Dylan, he's a great musician.
Yes.
So I don't want to say anything about. The other thing is, I don't know what calculations the Academy had in their calculations, So I don't want to. I'm not in their minds, and then they can give the prize to whoever they want to.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Because we don't apply for it.
No.
You are given. Bob Dylan did not apply for it. I did not apply for it. He's given. Right, But let me tell you a few things about the Nobel Prize. Every year, I find myself on the list. Because a betting thing, you bet on your name and so on.
Yes.
So 4 years ago, when the prize went to Argentinian, I was being marked as one of the contending figures.
Yes.
And even my own University of California, they thought I was getting it that year. So they set up the following day a time for a press conference to announce that the president and the dean were going to be there. They sent photographers to my house to come and take me Nobel Prize photographs, so they are ready with the photographs and everything else. Then people with cameras, they came to my house at 3 a.m. in the morning, because the time is when it's announced in Stockholm at 1 o'clock, it's actually 4 a.m. in California.
Wow.
So they were there camping outside my house. Right?
Yeah.
Because they want to take the fast reactions.
Yes.
Actually, so, and then it was announced. It's our daughter who had it over the television. It had been won by an Argentinian, not me. So when we opened the door and broke the news to this crowd of photographers and others, they were so upset that my wife actually invited them in, made them coffee, and then my wife was consoling them. It was really incredible.
Right.
But Jeff, one thing, although I should be calling you Koinange, but let me call you for the time being.
Thank you.
I'll make concessions.
Okay.
Right. This is what really I appreciate is the fact there are so many people in the world who think I'm worth of that prize. And actually, I'm very, very proud of Kenyans, because every year, ever since, you can feel that Kenya is behind. The expectations are such that, So I feel this love also from Kenya.
Good.
Yeah, and I really, really, really appreciate it.
It'll come.
Yeah,
I have a feeling it'll come one of these days. It'll come.
But I get my Nobel Prize. You know how I get my Nobel every day?
Go on.
I met a young man today who told me how one of my books affected his entire life. And now today he just came from the lecture I had at KCA.
Yes.
He came over And he was telling me how, oh yeah, the little book of children, Jabanene, Nabadi e Madagu, or Jabanene and the Flying Birds,
Yes.
how he read it as a young person and it molded his life.
Wow.
Just now, Professor Albai was telling me, oh, I'm going to his village because he has set up a community-based library, theater where young children come and paint and in his village, right? And I'm going to see it. Now he was telling me that his inspiration for that project in Western Kenya was my book, Homecoming.
Homecoming.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And this was written in 1969.
Look at that.
And I had a vision of a national culture as being made of villages with their every village in Kenya should have a library, become a library center, an art center, music center. That's how I saw it.
In 69.
Yeah. So he read it and became an obsession with him. Now he's a big professor of biological sciences, but he has set up that community.
Prof, do you know, are you aware that 100 years from now, even longer, they'll still remember your name? Are you aware?
Well, I don't know about that, but what I do know is a book. If one can leave a book, a story that can be read over and over again, I think that's important. You know, I appreciate that. You know, just like I appreciate. I tell you one of the stories I'm reading right now.
Go on.
It's not African, but I'm reading an old Indian epic called Mahabharata. And this book of stories, more or less, was written 9th century before Christ was born, before the Christian era. And in this epic, I'm telling you, every invention in the world today was anticipated in imagination in that text, including aeroplanes, including testing babies, including, in fact, nuclear explosions.
No.
They are in that book.
900 years before Christ?
Yeah, 900 before Christ, yeah. And it's still very vivid. In fact, you know something? When the Americans exploded the first nuclear bomb in 1945.
Yes, in Nagasaki.
Hiroshima. Not that in Hiroshima. When the
Tested.
nuclear tested in Mexican desert or something. When one of the scientists who was behind it, when he saw the power, the monster they had created, he could think of nothing but a quotation from Mahabharata, the section called the Gita. He says, I'm become death, destroyer of worlds. Right?
Gita.
Everything is anticipated in that thing. So what I'm trying to say, works of imagination, whether it's my own work or works by other Kenyan writers or African writers, you know, become very, very important. It's really a gift to Kenya, but also to Kenyans and African people of the future.
Yes.
Yes.
Prof,
Yeah.
keep giving us that gift.
Okay.
Keep giving us that gift.
Okay, thank you.
We
very
love
much.
to read from you. We love to hear from you.
Yeah.
You are just a walking, talking encyclopedia.
Well, I like telling stories.
You too.
You know, by the way, you know something? You don't realize people tell stories every day. When you meet your friend, whoever it is,
Yes.
you don't meet him and start philosophizing or preaching to him.
Right.
You say, where do you come from? Oh, I went to say this place and I saw this. Really, did you? And I was also coming. They tell each other stories.
That's storytelling.
We talk in stories. We don't talk in lectures.
No.
We don't preach to one another. We don't talk in philosophy or in politics. Normally, normal conversation is actually telling stories. Yeah.
Keep telling your
Right.
stories, bro.
Okay,
Keep
thank
telling
you.
your stories.
Okay, thank
What a story. What a man. What a prof. What a superstar. And so humble. He keeps getting award after award. By the way, you have an OGW, right?
Sorry?
You have an OGW from the government? Order of the Grand Warrior.
Oh yes, but I should mention, no, I do have, under Kibaki, I did get Order of the Burning Spear.
Okay.
And also under Uhuru, the current president,
Yes.
Uhuru Kenyatta,
Yes.
also another burning spear, right? So I've got two.
You've got two.
I like
And
them to
case-
burn,
and
I like
ca-
them to burn in my heart. You know?
Two spears of burning.
Blaze. I have two blazing spears.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the honorary doctorate, KCA University Friday. Beautiful.
Oh yes, and that
Beautiful.
honorary doctorate,
Yes.
that is, you know, which I really appreciate. Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
And good for you. And
Okay.
welcome back home.
Okay, thank you. I'm always like, I come back
Keep coming
Kenya
back.
for sustenance, to get spiritual sustenance. Yeah, right.
Spiritual sustenance.
Yeah, very important.
Yes, indeed.
Home, home is always home.
Home is always
No
home.
matter where I am.
Home is where the heart is.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
I could listen and talk to Professor Ngugi with Thiong'o all day, every day, Monday to Monday. What a phenomenal man. I tell you, I hope you've been as inspired as I have, because this man has been writing books for 52 years. Check them out. And he's not stopping anytime soon. And like I said, that Nobel Literature Prize, stay tuned. It's coming yet. Thank you so much for joining us. Next
Thank
week
you.
is a new week, new show, new guests, new themes. But the one thing that's always consistent, those three letters on the keyboard, JKL, as in Jeff Koinange Live, every Wednesday, Thursday, 10 p.m., right here on KTN Home and KTN News. Keep watching. Thanks for watching. Keep tweeting at KCA University, at Koinange Jeff, the hashtag I graduate. Thanks again for watching. Good night. Good luck. God bless this phenomenal man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Prof.
Yeah,
Great
okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well done.
My younger brother.